Hello everyone and welcome back to Sparrows and Business Diaries. I'm Mel and I make videos all about the different creative ways that I'm trying to make money online. Now, this was going to be a much more structured and formal goals video, but I'm not quite in a position to make one of those because I feel like I'm just drowning at the moment. And actually it probably would have done me good to kind of really sit down and get myself organised for the month, but it's too much like wading through treacle at the moment. I feel like I need to get a certain kind of way in before I can actually think clearly. The only structured thing that I've done is I have set up a Google Calendar for myself. I've got it set up for August, and then obviously certain blocks of time repeat themselves every month. So I think it won't be until September that I actually start using this calendar schedule time blocking thing, but it's there and it's in place. But beyond that, everything has been a little bit higgledy-piggledy. And it's just because kind of over the summer, I don't know if you find this, it's a little bit like the Christmas holidays. You just find yourself seeing people going out a lot more, especially in the UK, because, well, I say that this is when we're meant to have our best weather, but that hasn't happened this year, has it? It's just raining. Just raining all the time, apart from today. Today it's nice. So yeah, it's just been a busy period of time, and I don't feel able to kind of be quite so formal and so structured. But I am going to talk you through kind of where I'm at with some different things that I've got going on. Those of you that are familiar with the channel will be familiar with those things. If you're not, then there is a vlog playlist which is full of kind of videos that are either sit down chats or they are kind of following me around for a day or two just to see what I get up to, and you might find those a useful catch up. Anyway, let's start with, I always start with reselling, don't I? Because that's still my biggest income stream, and I suspect will be certainly for the next 12 months. Yeah, my reselling has kind of hit the skids, sort of ish, in that I got myself all into a kind of a tears and a bit of a muddle about which platforms I wanted to use. And obviously Poshmark came to the UK and I kind of thought, oh, I want to try that. And then I thought, actually, no, I don't. I keep going on the app and thinking, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. So I'm not going to. Right, sorry, I had to cut off for a minute there. Where was I? I was talking about reselling, or I might have edited it out so that you didn't even get the beginning bit. So let's start with reselling then, because that's still my biggest income stream. And I have got myself into a bit of a pickle, I think over nothing, really, which is just so like me anyway. But I have been faffing about and thinking about like changing platforms and quitting eBay, and I have actually gone as far as to cancel my shop subscription, and I've taken down a load of listings that are set to kind of renew in the next few days, because obviously I don't want to pay for them or anything. And I kind of did that because I think where I've been selling my own stuff on Vinted, and I'm starting to pick up semi-regular sales on Etsy where they don't charge a shop subscription, and the listing fee that you pay, I think it lasts about 3 months or something like that. It lasts quite a while. And so there's no shop subscription there, and on Vinted there aren't even any fees for sellers. And I'm kind of like just really feeling the difference between those two and whenever I sell something on eBay, and you kind of like you see what money you have left and think, right, okay, so there's not a huge amount of profit in that for me, or there's not as much as my mental arithmetic calculated. And it's such a saturated marketplace as well that I'm having to pay to promote my listings to get the same number of sales that I used to get without promoting them. And I mean, goodness knows what's gone on there. It's just speculation really. But I think with eBay, a lot of their business model seems to revolve around where can we put in these fees and charges and take more money from sellers to plug whatever gaps they've got in their finances or their profits that they feel that they need to make. So anyway, yeah, I was really feeling the difference. The trouble is with eBay though, is because it's such a big marketplace, is you do find that I find that I have more frequent sales on there, which starts to compensate for the fact that they're taking so many fees. So I think it swings and roundabouts to an extent. The difference is that eBay doesn't feel good for me anymore, whereas Vinted and Etsy feel good when I'm selling on there, when I'm making sales and so on. So with all of that in mind, I've kind of got to decide what on earth I'm going to do with this income stream, because I'm currently on 400 listings across, I think, 3 different platforms, but that's not enough listings. I need to get back up to about 600 to 800 listings to realistically make the amount of money that I need / want to make from it. And the thing about having them spread so thinly is that it doesn't draw people into your shop or your account or what have you. The more you have in one place, you've got, like, say you've got 500 things in an Etsy shop, well, that's 500 opportunities to kind of get someone's attention with one listing and pull them into your shop to show them, you know, the rest of the shop. And that happens a lot. I mean, that happens a lot on eBay. I'll have people who'll buy 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 items of jewelry all in one go. And the more I have out there, the more opportunities there are for that to happen. So I'm definitely not going to do a Poshmark. I'm going to delete the app, I think, and rejig my little cheat sheet that I put together that had Poshmark on there. I don't like the fees for a start. I don't like the app. The app is just, it's too much. I mean, the notifications that come through, I'm going to have to switch everything off. I need to delete the app or turn the notifications off at least, and it's too busy and there's too much going on. And I think I've said this in a previous video, it feels like a social media app and I do not need another one of those in my life. So Poshmark is going, I'm not interested in it. The end. So that really does leave me back with eBay and Etsy, and I think I have made peace with that. And so, having caused quite a bit of damage to my business over the last couple of months, very neglectful, not really investing in stock, just all neglectful and just ruining it in so many ways, I need to rebuild it. I need to build it up again. So I have set myself a listings target. I have got a little spreadsheet where I'm monitoring what's going where, and that kind of includes my decluttering and stuff as well. I've basically got to reinvest in some stock, and I've started to do that. I think I've got about 108 or 109 things listed on Etsy at the moment, and I've got enough items for Etsy to get that up to around, I think, about 160 items. And I would really like to get Etsy to 200 by the end of September, preferably 250 as we go into October, because I don't really know what a proper Q4 is like on Etsy, and I just want to see what it's like, see if it takes off in the same way that eBay does. And then eBay is languishing on about 250 listings, which is the lowest it has been probably since about 2018. I think that's when I started like reselling on eBay. Yeah, it's not been that low for a very long time. And I don't really have anything much in the way of stock for eBay. I think I've probably got, I don't know, 5 to 10 items. So I've got to sort of really like take that plunge and reinvest a lot of the income rather than taking it as a salary. And that means I've just got to step up, and I've got to do more work than I would do usually, and just get everything listed and get kind of oil the machine of reselling and kind of get it all going again. So that's where I am with that. It does have a knock-on effect on other things though, because of that kind of extra push that I need to make to resurrect that business. It does mean that YouTube videos are going to be few and far between, because even if, so obviously it's time consuming anyway, the editing, the recording and what have you, time consuming. And this is my flash new Bluetooth mic, mainly so that when I'm filming at the allotment and in the garden, I don't get all of the traffic noise and the noise from my neighbours and stuff. Anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, so the videos, they take a lot of time and they don't pay hardly any money. Like, some of them make me a £5, and that's not a sustainable use of my time at the moment. So like the YouTube videos need to be almost like an add-on when I've got some spare time, and then at some point it might grow to the point where it's worth me investing proper time in. I've got to focus my time on my income streams that are pulling in a lot more money than that for a lot less time. I think that's the thing. It's like the kind of the time and effort versus income. So I will throw out a video whenever I get time, but it might be as little as one a month for a while until I kind of get everything going again. So that's kind of covered the reselling and the YouTube side of things. And what else have we got? KDP. So I think I'm sitting on about 145 live books on KDP. And last month I made about £90. And my target for that is £100. So I think with KDP, if I keep chipping away and just build up a body of about 200 books of kind of all different types. I've got notebooks, I've got scrapbooks, I have got some colouring books that do bring in a trickle of money. So I could put out, you know, a few more of those. And basically just kind of build that up. I have got another couple of types of book that I've either put out or that I've started to make. I think if I just keep chipping away at that, build it up to 200 books, I should get my £100 a month, and then probably a bit more than that over the Christmas period. So looking at maybe £1,200 to £1,800 a year, maybe up to £2,000 a year from that income stream. And that's a lovely kind of passive income stream. I think when I get to that point, I need to have a serious think about higher content books. I've got to look into the business of, you know, educational books. I've explained before, I think at some point, that that's not as straightforward as it sounds, because I end up with a conflict of interest with the exam board that I work for. I'd have to give them details of every single thing that I've published. And there's also copyright issues as well with anything basically that I might use as source material. Anything kind of from the 20th century would have to be very carefully checked that it's in the public domain. And also the other thing is, as someone who, you know, understands the pedagogy of teaching and learning, you don't learn from an activity book. So I've got to be very, like, ethically, I have to be sure that what I've created is actually beneficial to students and not just something that is going to make me money because they'll buy it thinking, oh, this is great, this is going to help, when actually it doesn't. So there's so much to think about with that. And then the other high content books that I, you know, have talked about for quite a while is some crochet pattern books, which I'd love to get into. And then the other thing that I thought of as well, having read quite a lot of these like little cozy mystery books that people mainly publish them as like self-publish them as ebooks and things, and I kind of read those and I'm just like, I could do that if I actually sat down and put the work in. So a cozy mystery or two is on the agenda, but I kind of want to get to that 200 of like the low and medium content books first, just to kind of secure that income from KDP. And then I can almost, and then, you know, when I've sorted out the reselling as well, I can almost like sit back and it gives me a little bit more time to focus on the higher content stuff. And then what else do I do? Oh yeah, so the Redbubble and Society 6, that so I have about 3 or 4 shops on Redbubble, but I have one shop in particular that makes, again, semi-regular sales and quite a few sales over the Christmas period. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm replicating that shop on Redbubble onto Society 6, and what's working really well at the moment is most evenings I'll just take one design and I'll kind of resize it and I will throw it onto Society 6. And so that process is just something that's going on in the background, kind of in my spare time while I'm getting on with other things. And what I'm hoping is that it will just be a nice, easy way to get a little bit of extra passive income in, again, particularly over the Christmas period. So, so we have that. And then I've got the Etsy digital downloads. Now, this is something I would like to focus on because I quite enjoy the work. And I think the problem that I have with it is, I've mentioned this in a previous video, I open an Etsy shop, I pop about half a dozen things on there, and then I just wander off and leave it and think, oh, I don't think this is working. But Having sort of watched some videos and followed some people that are, you know, experts in Etsy digital downloads and things like that, they're basically saying like chuck 100 things into a shop before you decide like what can stay and what can go and what direction you need to go in and all of that kind of thing. And I've never done that. I've never got a digital product shop up to 100 listings. So I think what I'm going to do is take the 2 or 3 that I've started, get those 3 up to 100 listings, and then just watch what happens and see if any of them have, you know, got legs and are things that I can grow even further. And I have got that built into my schedule. I've popped that in for every Thursday afternoon. So in the morning I do the reselling, and every Thursday afternoon I'm going to do a little bit of work on those Etsy shops, even if I don't know, even if I don't get that much done. I want to, it's another one that I want to chip away at, like with KDP, get it to 100 quid a month or so. And then, you know, really what I want to do at the beginning of next year is to just kind of to sit back and look at all the things that I've started and work out which ones that I want to take further. That's the plan anyway. So really my biggest goal for August is getting my reselling business sorted. You know, I mean, it can take a beating, it can take some neglect, but it's really it's on the floor at the moment. So I need to focus on getting on with that first and foremost, and then I'll chip away at the other things a little bit. But then hopefully in September, reselling shops will be up to where they should be, and hopefully at the beginning of September I will come back with a proper video where I've got like really specific goals, everything's broken down, and we can take a look at that together. But for now, like, this is it. And in terms of financial goals, really for August, because August can still be a little bit wobbly for me actually. I tend to get right back into like my normal sort of like salary or wages or whatever, or my normal amount of profit from reselling other things, usually in September. So my goal for August is to, yeah, pay all my bills, earn enough money to live and do the things I want to do this month. And again, when we get back into September, I will be a lot more specific about some financial goals as well as some business goals. Anyway, this is quite short for one of my videos, but I didn't want to just completely disappear and you to all be like wondering what's going on. Basically, everything's a mess. I'm sorting it out over this month, and then hopefully I'll be back to tell you more specifically about what I'm doing and how things are going at the beginning of September. So I will see you then.